This Lamborghini right now is somewhere in the middle of a desert and it's just there. I left it because I couldn't drive it. I just always needed to make money. It wasn't really a case where like I wanted to and I thought it was a cool idea, like I literally needed to. Bro, the only risk in life is not taking a risk.
I don't understand how people don't grasp or conceptualize that thought. As you can tell from the intro, the podcast you're about to watch is not filmed in the usual location. It was over in sunny Dubai. I wish I was back there right now. And it was with a good friend of mine. I'm pretty sure you're going to recognize him either from social media or maybe you've watched some of our podcasts in the past. This was extremely last minute. Shorter than usual though. However, there is tons and tons of value in there. It's more business, mindset, and overall success. Looking back on both of our journeys really, sort of reflecting on how our conversation has changed over a period of time based on us both reaching new levels of success, quote unquote, however you deem that being. Make sure to watch, subscribe, because where I am right now, I've just filmed the podcast and I've got 2 more that I'm doing this week. Tons of value, tons of gold with some guests that you will not want to miss. So, ladies and gents, we're back. I don't know what episode this is. However, you'll see we're in a very different venue today, but there is a familiar face. I'm sure you all know who he is. I'll let him give an introduction in a moment, but getting here today, and this is extremely last minute. I have a flight in, 3 hours? Mm-hmm. So the guys here at Custom Made Reality, we'll tag them on here. Came in, clutch, last minute. It was a 1 a.m. text message that got this sorted this morning. So they've come through, they've saved us. You'll probably know who these guys are that run this place. If any of you are fans of the Tate Brothers, you will know who these guys are. So I'll put all the links down below and you can check them out. But let's get into this. So this is episode number 3 with Markuss, and this is going to be a pretty good one. So if I would say anyone who wants to know a full, in-depth, detailed breakdown of what you do, there's full episodes on it.
Yeah, I agree.
This one, I think we should do a little bit different.
I agree. There's so much to talk about. I don't think we should go into the in-depth of how I got, or like who I am and da-da-da. Like you said, we've done the first episode. Yeah.
And if you haven't already, Markuss's episodes with us are the best performing ones, and they're the best performing for a reason. So check them out.
I remember the first one that we done. Afterwards, you were like, "I've never had a guest like this before."
I didn't expect it at all, mate.
Just bring the energy,
Yeah, for sure. It's just like, I feel like you almost speak in like viral clips, like.
It's just natural.
Yeah.
It's just natural. But I do know a thing or two about marketing. That's all my businesses have always revolved around that. So I always think about how is this going to be able to be clipped and how can I make more money?
The sunglasses were the perfect example.
I literally said it before I jumped on there.
Yeah.
This is a little behind the scenes if you guys didn't know. Before I jumped onto the podcast, I had the sunglasses in my pocket. This is the first episode, right? Yeah. Just before I put them on, I was like, by the way, boys, everybody in the room, I'm going to put these on purpose because I know people are going to stop scrolling and be like, who's this idiot wearing sunglasses inside?
And that's all the comments were, wasn't it? Like, time after time after time.
Everybody, yeah.
But no, really good. So, brief introduction, background, and then, but for full in-depth, watch the other episodes.
For brand new viewers, So my name is Markuss Hustle. I'm originally from Eastern Europe, small little country called Latvia. Grew up in actual poverty, moved to the UK, immigrated to the UK with my mum, just me and my mum. We still lived in a council estate in the UK, so it wasn't anything like crazy when we moved to the UK. And I just always needed to make money. It wasn't really a case where like I wanted to, and I thought it was a cool idea, like I literally needed to. And I started my first business when I was just the age of 17, just the back end of 17, when I was 17 years old. And it was a creative agency. So I was doing photos, videos for local businesses, local rap artists from a little council estate that I lived in. It's really embarrassing now, but it's cool.
You've got to start somewhere.
Exactly, bro, yeah. And that's how we started. I built my portfolio. Then I actually thought, okay, well, how can I make more money with this? So then I thought, well, if I work with other businesses, they're going to have more money to pay.
For sure.
So that's how I got into that. I started then offering these videos and photo services to local businesses.
Did you do like a barber's or something?
My first one was my own barber. That I always. It was literally just a case of him cutting my hair. And he was like, what are you up to these days? And I just said, I've been recording. I want to get into recording adverts for local businesses. And he was like, well, why don't we just run one for my business? And that's what can happen, right? This is the first lesson of the whole podcast. is just always tell the world what you're doing and what you want to be doing. Because if you put it out there, then that's when the energy can come back to you. Because otherwise, if you just keep it to yourself and you're too scared about what other people are going to say and you don't tell the world your plans and where you want to get to, you won't get there. Yep. But if you just say, fuck it, I just want to do it, I just want to do this, I want to achieve this, and you just tell the world and be public about it, then all of a sudden, who knows, what if your mum's sister's cousin somewhere is, has a business, and then she can be your first client, exactly. Right? So yeah, just put it out there.
And I think that even believing in yourself in the way that you did, where I think from the first episode to now, there's been a dramatic shift in your life. But I knew from that first episode, and you had that confidence and self-belief in that first episode, is that this guy's going places. It's guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Somebody said this to me the other day. They were like, did you ever was there a switch, or did you always think that, you're going to make it? And without sounding big headed, I've always knew that I was going to make money, good amounts of money my entire life. It wasn't really a case where something switched. There was a moment where I took it more serious, which is unfortunately my father passed away. I was 18, and that's when that tragedy happened. And look, that is life, and you can look at it in one or two ways. You can either be very sad about it and go down a negative route and just do drugs and
spiral,
stupid stuff, or you can be like, all right, okay, well, this is life. This happened to me. There's not much I can do. How can I? What can I do? Which is, okay, well, I looked at the facts, which is I just had my mom. I got to be the man of the house now, and I started a business. So yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I've always known that I was going to become successful. I just had to. That was it.
And that's the thing, especially with stuff like that, with events, if your back's against the wall. And I remember from your mum's story, was she a cleaner? Or, yeah, something like that. And I remember, didn't you say you went to work with her once and
Correct.
You felt really crippled after it? It was well, what's this doing to my mum?
Correct.
And when you treat stuff like this and there's no other alternative, you're destined to succeed at that point.
Yeah, you have to. Yep. And I think I might have said this on the last podcast. If not, I'll say it now. Everybody watching this and listening to this, you need to understand, if you are in a quote unquote bad situation, aka you don't have a lot of money, you maybe live in a council estate, or maybe you don't have a father or don't have a mother, whatever it is, the negative thing that you think right now is hindering your progress and success, that is actually a superpower. You don't realize it.
Yeah, it's like a breakup.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But it's how you use that energy, right? Mm-hmm. Everything is energy. Yeah. But certain people, they don't understand to actually turn it into a positive thing, and they'll just dwell on it.
And that's it where, for me, no one who I'm around on a daily basis is negative.
Right, exactly.
Because I think, it's one of those phases where it's sticky. If people are constantly negatively reinforcing things, obviously that's going to negatively affect you.
Yeah.
Yesterday, for example, we all went out, everyone's laughing, everyone's happy all day long. There's not one bad thought that comes into your head, and it's more motivated than ever to keep improving. It's well, because I want this life forever.
Yeah. And you guys can do that as well back home. Just because just use the example as me, just because I was living in a council estate doesn't mean that you constantly just have to hang around with those same friends who just want to do degenerate stuff like drugs and alcohol and stuff, right? You can just cut them off.
And it's even in my case, I didn't grow up in a council estate. I would say middle class, but 90% of my cohort school, my friends, they still live for the weekend. It's the pub, and beers. That's it. It's Friday. Wait until Friday comes around. Week's wages gone, done.
Yeah.
And it's like a vicious cycle. They're not getting out of it. And I don't speak to any of them really anymore. But you don't have to be loyal to people like that. They're going to hinder you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. You must level up your circle 1,000,000%. If you want to level up your life, you have to.
And that is one of the most important things I've realized about in Dubai.
Yeah.
Just for a bit of background, I have put some other content out, and I will be putting some more together about my experience in Dubai and how I found it. Because Markuss has been here a lot longer. I flew out here for 3 days. I've been here for 3.5 weeks now. And at the start, it was very, very rocky. I wanted to go home straight away. Obviously, we had the floods, and I was moving about from villa to villa, and it was just a nightmare.
Your first experience is crazy.
Yeah. Everyone's saying that. Don't take this view on it. Don't take this view on it. You will like it.
It was the first time in 75 years anything like that has happened.
And then we sort of the latter half, I got invited. So someone who came to me from a podcast with Matt Kelly, he watched me on there and said, "Can I do some free email marketing for you? I want to move into the e-com space. Can I do it for you? It's like, yeah, of course. That relationship started about 3 years ago. Worked with him ever since. He introduced me to people out here, and then sat around the table with people. Like, there was one lad, 29, made his best day was 900 grand in a day. And then one guy had exited his company for 40 million.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is the Dubai that I need. This is the Dubai that I actually came and wanted to see, because everyone around you as well. There was guys there that were saying, like, they were laughing at me. They'd be like, Jack, this is the poorest you're ever going to be because of like my business at the moment and how it's running. Yeah, make good money. But like, if you just make these changes, it's going to go like this. But that's what everyone I feel here is willing to do. They're willing to have a conversation and help.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel more so in the UK, stuff is a lot more hush-hush, secretive. But I feel like when you're around here and everyone's doing so well, it's just, well, we'd all rather win together. 100%. It's like a lot of people in the UK, especially like if we go back to this pub scenario with my friends, it's crabs in a bucket. There's no one wants to see each other win. And then when that one person does, they get the shade thrown at them.
Yeah. Yeah, when money is abundant, then all of a sudden everybody wants to share it. But when it's scarce, then everyone goes into panic mode. Like, no, I'm not going to try and help you. Yeah. And the UK and a lot of places around the world are like that. Yeah. So yeah, Dubai, you need to move out here.
I do.
But yeah, so when we done the last episode, I was still living in Manchester, I believe.
You were just moving to Dubai maybe like a month later.
Correct. Right. So I finished the episode and I think I was talking about potentially moving. And then like a month after I was here.
Yeah, you jumped pretty quick, didn't you?
You know, when I moved to here, before I moved here, I never came here for holiday. I didn't even know much about Dubai. I just knew that this is the place that I'm going to enjoy.
And you just fully embrace yourself.
Yeah.
But that's it as well. I think that's like another trait of like an entrepreneur. It's just throwing yourself into the deep end. It's like, well, I'm going to make it work. Yeah. And it's the same in business, same in life.
Bro, the only risk in life is not taking a risk.
I don't understand how people can't grasp or conceptualize that thought.
Yeah, just okay. So here's how I logically make decisions. And I'm sure hopefully most of you do it, but if you don't, just do what I do, right? Which is really, really simple. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Amazing. Thanks, Ben.
So here's exactly how I make decisions, right? It's pretty simple and it's pretty rational. You just simply, I sometimes genuinely do it physically on a piece of paper, but I haven't done that in a while. But you can do it on a piece of paper. Get an A4 piece of paper, draw like a cross on the middle, right? So like a line down the middle and then like a line at the top, right? Pros, cons. As non-biased as possible from a third person point of view, genuinely try and list down as many pros and cons of each and try and be as non-biased, because obviously if you're biased towards like, I really want to live in Dubai, you're going to make more pros than less cons, right? I genuinely mean as many pros and cons and do it for like a day or two. Yep. If it's really a real big decision, think about it for a day or two and keep writing these down. And then you can logically sit there and look at everything from a third person point of view on a piece of paper and be like, okay, well, to be honest, if I move here, look at how many pros there are. If I stay here, then look at many cons, right? Yeah. So that's how I make decisions. And I think that's how a lot of entrepreneurs make decisions quickly in their head. And over time, you can do it very, very quickly.
But I think what's important with what you said is it's always rational. It's being rational and it's not being emotional with it.
Correct.
Where like with one of my businesses recently, we've had an offer to buy out. And for me, I was like, wow. But I was attached to that business. It's like, and then when I spoke to those lads at that event, they're like, what are you doing? You can't be emotional about it. You're going to do this again and again and again and again. And it's just one of those things that you've got to sort of get through. And I think as an entrepreneur, detaching yourself from emotion is one of the most powerful things that you'll ever be able to do.
And it's also, funny enough, it is 100%, but then it also is one of the hardest things to do.
1,000,000%.
Right?
Yeah, because it's not natural.
Correct.
If you look at 99% of people, they won't do, for example, they won't leave their job because they are scared. They feel emotion. Or maybe they don't want to start the business because they will be stressed and they fear having that emotion. But you will be fine then. You sit in that same position, but then you can't complain about it when nothing changes.
Yeah, correct. It's interesting. If you just learn about human psychology, right, and even physically how the brain is built up, it's really, really interesting. And how we make decisions as humans, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, you absolutely need to make decisions and you need to take risks. Because like we said, the only risk that you can have in life is not taking that risk. So you must rationally think about the pros and cons. Does it make sense? Yes. So to me, I was living in a rainy like UK, Manchester, where, Manchester's pretty safe, in my opinion, compared to maybe London. So it wasn't that, but it was just gloomy, rainy, cold. Everybody looks so like miserable all the time. Like you go into a shop and everyone's there like all like their jackets and all looking like runny nose and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to be here. It smells.
I can't believe what the sun does to you out there.
Bro, this is what I'm saying.
You can't just the sun.
You can't be in a bad mood if you go on your balcony or in your garden and it's beautiful sun. Not only that, it's also like everybody else is like that, right? Yeah. Exactly like you say, what the sun does to you.
And what I've noticed here as well, especially with this being my first experience in Dubai, everyone is super helpful. Like even the guys here, when we came in, Jules said, he was like, straight away, this is your home, guys. Right, I'm going to give you a tour. Stay, chill. We were playing pool.
One of the craziest, and shout out to this place, guys. Honestly, check them out. Custom made reality.
I've got a suit ordered from here. Did this last week.
Add it on the screen.
Yes, so we will do.
So one of the craziest experience I've had here in Dubai, when it comes to like hospitality and just like random people being very nice, it was a friend of mine who introduced me to his friend. Right, first time that I met this guy ever. He doesn't even know who I was before. Right. Anyway, I meet him. And I come to find out he runs a supercar rental company. Young guy, for context. He's maybe mid-20s. Yeah, probably 25, 26. Anyway, he runs a supercar rental company and he's probably a fleet of 40 supercars. I didn't know this as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, we go to his purple Lamborghini. This is at the time, I think I didn't have my Lambo. I think I just had my Rolls Royce. But again, he didn't know I had that, right?
Yeah. He
just thought I was a random guy. Anyway, we come to talking, blah, 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 blah. And then in the conversation, I was saying, I'm actually flying out one of my friends from the UK, from school.
Yeah.
I literally paid him for a whole holiday. I just wanted to show him around Dubai, I thought he deserved it. And he literally, his name is Vaka, shout out Vaka. He literally was like, bro, do you want to take the purple Lambo for the day and like show him around? I was like, oh, how much? He's like, no, here's the keys. Just gave it to me. No, I didn't have to sign no contract, no deposit. No. Nothing. He just gave it to me, and then I was like, "This is after the day of me driving around and showing my friend, right?" I was like, "So when do you want it back?" Because he wasn't asking for it. Yeah. So this, you wouldn't obviously get that anywhere else.
Of course you wouldn't. And I think if you were to get offered that in the UK, you would think some
dodgy guy. Set up. This is set up, yeah.
It's even people since I've been here, I've not locked the front door once. We sat at dinner last night, speaking to Gunter, and he said and he was telling me about getting robbed and all the issues he's had, and it's just I can't even imagine it being a real problem here, especially.
But it doesn't really happen. And look, for example, last night, my Lamborghini tire blew up. Right, I was on the motorway. It was alright. It's not too bad. It was a massive puncture, basically. Right, the front tire is completely gone. Anyway, I was on my way to Rory's podcast last night. And I was like, I can't really miss this now. Yeah. I was like, fine. I just left it. I don't know. This Lamborghini right now is somewhere in the middle of a desert, and it's just there. I left it because I couldn't drive it.
You need to put footage in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll put it on the screen. And I'm not really that worried about it. If I really was scared, I would have been up first thing in the morning. I would have gone, got it picked up, etc. But I've just left it there because nothing's gonna happen to it. I'll call a recovery truck and I'll come get it. But anyway, all these little things, you guys need to understand that. The reason why we're talking about them is because it makes us more money, right? Mm-hmm. Living in a place like this will 100% make you more money, right?
It's even like yesterday when we were conveniently sat in McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I was telling Harry about this thing that I do, and he was like, straight away, take my number, details, and it's sort of like subconscious networking in a way, isn't it? Where you're out with your boys and you're having fun, but actually there's value being transferred throughout the day.
That's such a good way to put it. Subconscious value, 100%, without you realizing it. This is what I mean by you will make more money.
You're just absorbing it all day long, and that's every single place I've been to. When I've got around the right people, whilst I've been in Dubai, I've come away and I've been like, my God, I'm so glad I've stayed. And that's the thing as well with being your own boss. I was supposed to be here for 3 days, and it's just been extension, because the business still runs. It takes over. You don't need to go.
And also, that's everybody that comes to Dubai. Yes, they're here for 3 days, 3 months. It ends up being.
There's a reason.
So absolutely, you guys need to make money. You guys need to be your own boss. Have an online business where you can travel the world and work from wherever, and then you're able to move to places like maybe even Miami if you want to. But Dubai, in my opinion, is one of the best places on planet Earth.
And since living in Dubai, based on your experience, what level do they need to get at with the business in terms of sort of monthly?
Fantastic question. Again, it all depends on how you want to live your life, right? I think the bare minimum you should be making is 10,000 a month profit. By the way, Ben, how much wait for time? Good. So I think bare minimum you should be making at least 10,000 a month profit. This is to be living okay.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy lavish, but like okay is in the sense. Let me explain. In the sense that you've got a decent apartment. It's nothing too like run down or out in the middle of nowhere, right? You've got a decent apartment, either in down like
mid in the city. like 2.5, 3 grand, can't you? Like,
yeah, correct. Okay, yeah. And then you also can order food whenever. You can go out and eat. You don't have to like meal prep and all this stuff. And you can basically live a good life here at around 10,000 a month. Yeah. So that's like I would say bare minimum. If you really want to scrape it, would be like £4,000 a month. But I don't recommend it because you're not really living in Dubai. The thing about Dubai is you'll get a lot of FOMO, like fear of missing out. Because in Dubai, everything happens all day, every day.
And that's what I said to you, where this is why I kept pushing back flights, because it's like event after event after event, and there's one tomorrow.
Yes.
But I've got a business
you have to
launch
go.
on Monday. It's I've got to go. But even I know tomorrow would have been super valuable, but it's discipline, isn't it? You can't do everything.
Yeah.
And Dubai will stay here. It'll still be here next year.
Correct. And if you don't make enough money, for example, if you're only making like 4K a month and you're getting invited to all of these events all day, every day, you can't say yes to all of them because you're going to become broke.
And that will probably taint your experience with Dubai, because if you can't enjoy it the way it should or could be enjoyed, you're obviously not going to have the same sort of opinion on it that people like maybe me and yourself would have on it.
Correct. It's super interesting. One other thing I took away from what you said and your experience, which was when you first got here, you obviously, was it as the rainstorm was happening?
I landed on the Friday and then the rain came on, was it the Monday, Tuesday? So we were supposed to meet early that week. So I remember I messaged you before the game.
Yeah. Okay. So, and that was your first experience, right, of Dubai. And if you had left, that would have been your first experience. And then from there on,
I wouldn't have come back.
Yeah, exactly.
The only reason that I actually stayed was because Emirates, I couldn't get a flight home.
Right, okay.
So I was like, I've actually not got a choice.
And everything happens for a reason,
right?
but
now I'm considering moving it. So
but you see, so this is a lesson I need for all of you. There's always lessons you can extrapolate from every scenario and every conversation that you guys have. You guys need to also think, this is how I program my mind. Whenever I am in a situation or I'm listening to a story or I'm listening to two people talk or I'm watching somebody make a mistake or whatever, I'm always taking lessons from it, right? So the lesson from that is you guys must understand that first impressions are so fucking important, right? And that's the first lesson. The second thing is you must, as a person, you must give people and places and things a second chance, right?
Sure.
It depends on certain scenarios, but most of the time you must give people and things at least a second chance. Because like in this instance, again, if you just came here for like a couple of days and it was a rainstorm and everything was flooded and you left, you would have had a terrible experience and then you wouldn't want to come back. But look what you would have missed potentially, right? I know.
Like the value that's been attached to it. And as well, I think something that a lot of people, when they see Dubai and from how I've probably seen it, it looks like people just spending money all the time. And it's very easy to do here. However, these events and stuff that we've been to, like even stuff yesterday, right? You attach, let's say, a value to that. Let's just say yesterday cost me £1,000. And however, from the people that you meet and then the business that you can set up, that could generate and potentially will generate 400,000 over the next year. And it's like, when you start earning money, don't be afraid to spend it. Yeah. Don't hoard it. Spend it wisely, obviously. But if you're able to come to like places like this, and if you get offered introductions and meeting people, take advantage of it, snap the hand off at everything. Because everywhere I've gone, I've not really known anyone. I went to a birthday party where I got invited by one person, 10 other people there, and I feel like I left with 10 friends.
Yep.
And all staying in contact, and they can all help with my business. Yep. So it's committing and just, I don't know, being confident and backing yourself with public settings, I should say. Because I think a lot of people, especially in the UK, are very, I'd say, almost introverted, close circle, don't want to meet anyone new. You've got to be open to it. And I think that's been one of the main benefits of me of starting my business on my own. It was that I was always open to meeting new people. Whereas I know other people, that I've got friends that they run businesses together and they're more closed off than me. There's a group of them, so all of their minds just, they only bounce ideas off each other. I'm looking to hear off
anyone.
Yeah, yeah. It's super interesting. You know what else I'm thinking about is as each time we do one of these podcasts, because there's obviously about a year gap, right? Every time we are having different conversations because we're getting further and further into our like entrepreneurship. So what I'm extrapolating here is we're talking now more rather than like how to get started, how to make you 10K a month and how to start making money, and the mindset that you must have is now once you have got a decent amount of money, how do you then like double it, triple
take it further.
Take it further.
And that is it. Like for me, it was such a good experience, that first event that I keep banging on about, because I think I was probably the second lowest earner around the table. That's exactly where I want to be. I don't want to be the biggest earner at the table.
Yeah.
If I go to Manchester, I'm out with my friends, I'm probably going to be the biggest earner at the table.
Yeah,
There's nothing to learn from anyone else. Like this is, do you know William Brown?
Yeah.
So I was doing mentoring with him. And one of the things he said to me, like, first call, he was like, right, Jack, how come you're not making like 250,000 a month with this? I was like, I just wouldn't know how to get there. And he was like, well, that's costing you £250,000 a month then. He's like, what, is how much is what you don't know costing you?
Right.
Because someone out there's doing it. Someone out there has information that you don't have, has the ability to do it. So putting yourself into these sorts of situations and even paying for mentoring.
Yeah.
Like I do coaching obviously with Aftermarket, but I will be the first person to throw myself back into mentoring and learning from someone else because he's just exited his company, sold it for millions. It's like, well, why wouldn't I want to learn from him?
Of course, he knows the thing.
And that's the thing. Is like, I think people like me and you, like we would go to masterminds, we would learn from people, absorb as much knowledge as possible. But you get the people that, let's just say, your traditional 9-to-5er, and they hate the idea of taking education from anywhere other than university.
Well, it's ego, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's ego because they think, well, why is this guy who's a young guy? Because in their mind, they're programmed in the sense that, well, the university teacher must be older, experienced, and da-da-da. Why is this young guy? How is he going to teach me? Surely there's something going on here. It must be a scam. So it's ego or it's laziness that they don't want to listen to you and take action to when you're telling them to do something and how you've done it. They're like, probably not. But most of the time it's ego. Most of the time it's just arrogance because they're so arrogant thinking, nah, this guy probably doesn't know.
And I think that you actually see this as well with, I had an interesting conversation with the email marketing guy because he used to work in investment banking as well. And that's why he wanted to have a conversation with me. And he's like, I don't think these big sort of corporate, like let's just say mutual funds, hedge funds, investment banks, people that are buying and selling companies, private equity, whatever, they don't know about how much money's in the info space at the moment with young lads and young men and women that are absolutely killing it.
Bro, most people in most industries,
they don't get it.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I couldn't imagine ever going to, I don't know, or being approached by a mutual fund or a pension fund and saying, oh, we like the idea of this business. We want to put some money in this.
Yeah.
But the growth and the aggressiveness and the ability to scale in our industry, it knocks traditional business out the water.
It's completely different. Yeah.
But they don't know. They don't get it. They're not onto it.
Yeah. No, it's super interesting. But you also got to adapt with the times, right? So right now, there's clearly a gap in the market when it comes to education because people, after the lockdowns happened, they realized, okay, well, I can just kind of do this from my laptop at home. I don't really
everything online.
Yeah, I don't really need to go into this big old thing called a university and pay $9,000 or whatever it is, per year. So it is interesting, but you also get a lot of bad eggs, right, in this industry. You get a lot of people who just pretend that they know what they're talking about. Yep. They'll put up a course in 1 week and then they'll sell it for however much it is.
The amount of clients we've had come to us, and especially as well, like I've had I was on a call with a pregnant mom. She was like, I think she was 31, 32, explained to me how much she was struggling. She's like, yeah, I got done for $5,000 last week. And it's like, how are people, I don't get the morality of it and how these people assumingly have no moral compass, but the sort of that side of the industry definitely taints it for us and makes client acquisition 10 times harder.
Yeah. But it's fine because the good ones actually shine, right?
Yeah, and the good ones are the ones that last.
Correct.
Because the scammers, they don't stand the test of time.
Correct.
Like I've been running mine now for 3.5 years.
Yep.
How long you've been in the space for?
So
ages.
This one is 1.5 years.
Yeah.
My previous one was about 3 years.
Yeah.
So both
that
it's just
doesn't
me.
happen by accident.
Correct. Yeah. And word spreads, right? So you don't really see people saying anything negative, etc., like online about what we do, etc. So and this is the thing that I always say it to people, whether it's me or whether it's you or whether it's anybody that you're going to invest into to learn from, to make money or whatever it is. Just, again, this might seem like common sense, but sometimes common sense is not so common. Just do your research. And what I mean by that is look into the person. Who is he? Is he credible? What has he actually done? What proof does he have? That's the first thing you should look at. The second thing is, who has he helped? How many people has he helped? And are these real people? Because another thing, right? Like if me, I'll give myself as an example. If I have helped over 1,000 people make X amount of money, right? Don't you think that I would be proud and I would want to scream at the top of the mountain on who exactly they are and give their Instagram and give their name and surname, like as long as they are okay with it, right? I'll just double check with them. Don't you think I'd want to do that? Yes. And I do that, right? I literally have videos and screenshots and everything, and I give their real Instagram, their WhatsApp even sometimes if they're happy with it, for you guys to message them and see that they're real people, speak with them, because the easiest way to sell is by just somebody who's already done it and had a great experience. Why don't you just speak with them, right? You don't need to listen to me. Listen to somebody who's gone through what you want to go through.
Exactly. And the only people who are unwilling to listen to that are the ones that want to put the comfort blanket back on, sit on the couch and get back scrolling. There's nothing else to it. I think that that side of things is the case studies and being able to prove, like that's something I never really planned, like, or understood. I would get to a point where you've got people come saying, like, you've actually really seriously impacted my life, changed my life. Like one of our top performing clients came to us with £600. £600. He was on food stamps. He won't mind me saying this, we spoke about it before. Food stamps, relying on a food bank, 2 kids, working 7 days a week, only had £600. And that coming to us in that position, and now he's at a point where 9 months later, he tracks around about 5k profit a month just from with us. But starting with that amount of money, being in that sort of situation. Yeah, because it's like, if anyone should have an excuse to not have the time, it should be him. He's got children, dog, 2 jobs.
Correct. And still makes far more than the average.
Yes, and he still does his other jobs because he wants to. He just wants more money. That sort of drive is rare in people nowadays.
And he just took the risk and listened to you, invested into it, and just took action.
And that's the thing. At first, he was very hesitant to start. And it took a lot of persuading to actually get him over the line. But he soaked everything up like a sponge, asked questions, but also asked questions to a point where if he could go and do his own research, he would do it. Like, I like
that's what separates people.
If you can get an answer very easily on Google, you don't need to ask the question. Like, show some initiative, and that will take you further, because you're probably with like Amazon and stuff, you're going to get to a point where you don't want to lean on me anymore. You can go and do it on your own, but you're only going to get that level of independence by starting.
Well, this is it. This is what separates people from the average to the successful, is just taking initiative. It is as simple as that. Just taking matters into your own hands. Yeah, sure, you obviously invest into a coaching program and you can ask them questions and gain as much value as possible. But whilst you are doing that, you are also searching it yourself. Don't just ask the question and leave it and wait for however long it will be for the person to reply, right? Take it into your own hands. But Jack, I know the guys here are short on time, so I don't want to, because they have somebody else coming in.
Time's it now?
52 past, 53 past. So we've got like 7 minutes left, I believe, until they get here. Look, I think to wrap it up, there's a couple of points that we've gone over already. I think people just need to think bigger as well. In the sense of just everything. Number one, how much you want to make, but also where you want to live. Because if you live in a place like this, you're naturally going to want to think bigger. You're going to have conversations that are far bigger than you could have at home. And I think you should listen to people like Jack. I think you should listen to people like me and just do your research and just double check that these are people of source, of credible source, who have done what they say they have done, and they are actively doing what they're doing. And then all of a sudden, if you just listen to what we tell you to do, even for free, we create content for free. Things like this, podcasts, where we give value and share ideas.
You can go onto your Instagram, your YouTube, our Instagram, YouTube. There is so much free value in there, but people will it might be background music. If you sit down and work for your channel in a day, people...
Bro, okay, this is a true story. Remind me, by the way, I'll send you the screenshot. There's a guy who just has watched my YouTube videos. Just my YouTube, and I know he hasn't paid me. I know this, and I'm completely fine. He has just watched my YouTube videos, and he's made $100, and I believe $23 or something like that, $1,000 in 1 month. I think I'll double check it, but I'll send it to you guys after I put the screenshot. I think it was $123,000 in 1 month he made, and he literally said in a message, by just watching YouTube videos, thank you so much. So guys, take action. Don't be lazy. Don't be arrogant. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yes. Thank you very much, guys. Markuss, pleasure as always, mate.
Always. Take care, guys.